Good evening and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here today for the Miami Grand Prix. This is round 14 and this is Division 1, the creme de la creme, the best of the best. And I cannot wait to see what happens here tonight as well. We got a full grid, interestingly, as the Canadian Grand Prix. I think we had 50 people in Canada last week, or 13. But today we've got a full grid, so thankfully every single driver, including reserves, has turned up. And we're hoping to be a fantastic race around here in Miami as well. It's not everybody's favourite track. I know a lot of people despise the track, including myself, but hopefully, in terms of league racing, it shows us some decent action indeed, because usually in league racing it does, but in reality, it can be a bit of a boring playing circuit indeed then. So, a few people opted to start from the back, our usual suspects, and we've got a few people who have a qualifying ban as well, such as Norris. That's why he's on the Inter, as the tyre is selected on the graphic there on the left-hand side. But as you know, 18-minute qualifying session, and it should be a 29-lap race around here as well. So interestingly, the last two races in Division 3 and Division 1, it has been Inter in Division 3 and wet in Division 2. Fully wet race yesterday, and a lot of drivers did struggle out there, but all 15 drivers managed to finish the race yesterday. Veloce Jr. in the Aston Martin took the victory and almost lost it as well in the final lap, because the gap went from 4 seconds down to 0.5, so he was really struggling to fuel, as Volokongan has retired too. Volokongan, the PSGL F1 driver, and Nico Rassenberg, the PSGL F2 driver, so got a few people from that side there joining this league, as we got Laser then on an hour lap, and let's see how he does. Unfortunately, I don't think the championship standings for SFR have been updated. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've tried looking everywhere, and unfortunately I can't seem to find the championship standings, because we need a real good reference of what it is, because I know it's so close. It is super tight in the Drivers' Championship, especially Laser winning and Kaname dropping at the podium too. That's brought the gap even closer as we head down towards Turn 1. Let's start off a lap around here. Miami clips the apex towards Turn 1, Turn 2 and Turn 3. Not using a lot of curve through there, but we've got a lot of people who do have their own preferences, because some people like to ride the curbs in the first couple of corners. Some people don't like to take it at all. So it all depends on the feel of the track. But Laser, I dare say, took a bit too much curve there, which flung the car out wide and almost cost himself there. As we go through turn number 9 we go. Didn't really take the apex he would have wanted. Didn't really hook up the apex there on the inside. So a bit of time lost there for Laser, but it is his first lap time. So expect the lap times to get better and better for the qualifying session as well, as we now head down towards the heavy braking zone on this second DRS straight then, as we head towards turn 11 we go. As we see, sometimes we can see some side-by-side action here before as well in league racing. We've seen plenty of it before, but you want to end it before you enter this Mickey Mouse section here, which can be quite difficult. And Laser there, struggling with the back end of the car. Rear instability kicking in for him, as let's see, he abandons that lap time then. So Laser's first lap, unfortunately, has been scruffy, and therefore has to get back out of it. Will he go for it again? I think he's got enough fuel to do so maybe fuel the car for more than one lap. But we've got the Williams man of Romavaj. Last time he raced around here was season 15, and unfortunately for him, he picked himself up a 3-second time penalty as Norris retires from the session then with a qualifying ban. Romavaj returns here at the Miami Grand Prix after racing Qatar, but unfortunately it didn't quite go his way as Laser sets the benchmark, but obviously not a representative lap time for him, as that lap time but definitely improved by a few seconds as Bellamy goes up into P2 in the Red Bull with a 26.2 there for the Red Bull driver, as both Red Bulls thankfully are here tonight. Is Harry Kane here? He is, the one-time race winner this season, but Harry Kane also does have a qualifying ban, so the heavy hitters, the usual suspects we see towards the top end of the field, unfortunately sustaining qualifying bans, and thankfully none of them are championship leaders either. Oh, Bellamy does he get in the way of the Ferrari? Is that Ferrari in lap time? No, it's not. It's Fireblaze. Fireblaze did just complete his lap time, but Rising Star goes up into P2 in the Mercedes, as Rising Star did not turn up in Canada last week. But let's see how he does here. We know Rising Star does tend to struggle just a bit, it must be said, in terms of the longevity of the race pace. As Draugen now goes up into P3 in the Kick Sauber. Draugen steadily but surely has been improving bit by bit. I remember season 15 was his absolute peak as well. He did a fantastic job that season, picking up a win in Qatar and multiple podiums. But last season, when he rejoined at the Dutch GP, he has struggled to get the pace. As we got Adams, the Div 2 driver, who's up into P6 there, who went for the offset inters yesterday, but unfortunately, he had got a 3-second time penalty and unfortunately couldn't get himself up the order. Dominic, the German driver in the Williams then, as is his first appearance so far. Let's see how he does as he takes us through this first sector we go, where Charles Leclerc crashed in 2023, dropped the car, and Verstappen, I think, started down in P10 as he takes the wide angle going in there. Didn't really connect with the apex. A lot of people do have struggles trying to get to the apex in towards turn 9. That is a very difficult corner indeed, because you need to be super, super tight on the edge of there, lean on the curb on the outside, but some people might sustain a bit of understeer, some people might take the wrong line, as Racing goes up into P2, Racing Nominal in the Alpine, up into second place. A man has taken pole before here as well in SF4 Division 1 this season, but like Rise Star, he also does tend to drop off the pace a little bit as well, so that is one of his biggest weaknesses, is Rise Star and Racing, but hopefully they can fix that soon. Unfortunately, Jensen is not here tonight as well, as Mafasoni goes up into P9 in the Haas, obviously a newcomer as well. Samuel Gill in the Racing Bull is new, and Dominic as well, so welcome to those guys who are new here. As we've got the Williams of Dominic then, as his teammates has got a qualifying ban. We've got MDJ towards the line and goes up into P9. We've got Dominic towards the line. It's P4 for him in the Williams, and so far a decent first lap. But it's Fireblaze, crucially, our championship contender, who sets the pace in first place. And where is Kaname? There he is at P15 as he makes his way on the back straight, heading towards the heavy braking zone, in towards turn number 17 we go. A bit of wheel spin, in fact, massive wheel spin on the exit of the corner there, might hinder his performance slightly. As he crosses the line right now, it's P2 with a 25.633. Now, the rivalry between Kaname and Fireblaze has been super, super intense this season, because I remember saying early in the season that Kaname has beaten Fireblaze about 4 or 5 times for the podium, but it's super close in the championship. I would dearly love to read the championship out, but unfortunately it hasn't been updated. But I really hope it does get updated, because it's crucial to understand where we are in terms of the Drivers' Championship, as Samuel Gill makes his way in the pit lane. So no representative lap time for him. Yolm in Mercedes also hasn't got a representative lap time. Langfell has been wheeled back in, and Hussein is currently on his out lap. And now he's going to go start a flying lap around here in Miami then. So let's see how he does on his first flying lap. I think he's going to be first flying lap. Not quite sure if he's tried to go for it. And unfortunately, validated elsewhere. But as we head down towards turn 1 and turn 2, we go in 4th gear. Just being very patient with the throttle there. Use the overtake out turn 3, Justin Lee. That can be very risky indeed, because you're putting a lot of import into the rear wheels. Therefore, might wheel spin or lose traction. As now we're coming through the sequence of fast corners before we head now in towards this long left hand. To be very patient, trying to connect with the apex, but I've seen nobody so far in that little left-hander connect with the apex. Nobody seems to do that so far. Is that turn at number 9? It's turn 8, sorry. So that is turn number 8, where people struggle to try and clip the curb. As we head down towards turn 11 now, headed towards the breaker zone, we saw Magnussen versus Lewis Hamilton in the sprint race, I believe it was. I don't think there was a sprint race, was there, Miami? But here we go then. You can see a massive wheel spin as he got the throttle there, coming towards the chicane. We go hop, skip and jump over the chicane, and now coming towards the slow part of the left-hander as well. On the power once again with the overtake left to him. It's a 1.0 in the middle sector there for Hussein as he continues down this long back straight. Remember, Hazara and Harry Kane made contact in season 15 down this back straight. I believe it was Hazara who still won the Grand Prix, and Rogue Smithy, I think, was the one that picked up the podium that day too, after crashing the season after, caused a safety car. As Hussein makes his way towards the line, he goes up into P6 right behind as well. So both Hassers, sorry, I need to get this name up before I try and say it. Mafsoni in P5, Junior in P5, good job for him, and Hussein in P6 then. So I'm going to call him Maf for now to make it easy for myself. I'm pretty sure it's an easy name to pronounce, but obviously when you're speaking fast as a commentator, it can be very easy to trip over your words then. So, who else out there? Rising Star coming towards now, turn 4, turn 5 in 4th place. He's on a 25.864. His qualifying has been amazing so far, but let's see how he does here on his second flying lap, as half a qualifying then has gone in this session, and as he rounds off turn 8, very nice there, use the curb on the outside. Look at that, already a 10th up in the first sector is Rising Star as he continues his way down this short straight, headed in towards turn 11 we go. Just thinking about the braking point, looking to see where you brake as we now head towards turn 11, braking just before the 100-meter board, down to the gears, clipping the apex very nicely. Just be very patient coming towards this right hand. It can be a bit difficult, especially during the Grand Prix. Look at that. You can see the back end of the car wanted to complain as he has multiple corrections on the steering there, heading down in towards the chicane. You got to be very confident, very committed, but Rising Star, he thinks that wasn't good through that middle part of the lap then. So Rising Star has backed off. And even though he was attentive in the first set, it feels like that lap time wasn't good enough to try and promote himself up the order. However, though, the Hassi P5 has done 3 laps on his set of soft power tyres then. So even though he's had multiple goes at it, he's had more than 1 lap of the fuel of the car, obviously. He's got a lot of time to be found as well. Here comes Fireblaze then. How confident is he heading towards this Grand Prix? Because the championship's super close. Remember, Fireblaze hasn't won a race yet this season. His last race win was at the Mexican Grand Prix. His only race win of the season so far. But Fireblaze looks absolutely rapid then in that Ferrari. But his championship rival Kaname is behind him, plus his teammate of Kaname is racing in P3. So Fireblaze, they've got 2 Alpines to deal with during the course of the Grand Prix. They're all out there the circuit so far, ready to improve as Ramavaj in the Aston Martin goes up into P3. And that's the Ramavaj we remember as well. That's his pace. That's the Ramavaj who we used to know as well. And that's the guy who used to come from last up into the podium places as well. Remember back in Imola, sorry. As Remy goes up into P6, the only Red Bull driver in the session just displaces Laser there. Laser and Remy had a fearsome battle back in season 15 for the podium pay positions. As we've got now Fireblaze headed towards the breaker zone, slight lock up on the entry, gets back on the throttle. He did find time only just in the first, lost a bit in the second, but what's he going to be in the third sector? As he crossed the line right now, he misses out by 1600ths of a second there. So fine margins for Fireblaze, and unfortunately did not improve. But Rising Star improves in the middle sector by 0.3 of a second. Remember, this is his second lap time on these set of soft compound tyres. Look at that. You can see multiple corrections on the steering there as he heads out of turn 17, headed towards the line right now. Rising Star takes pole. It's a 25.527, and that is 500ths quicker than Fireblaze. Fantastic lap time there for Rising Star. I think Rising Star has been on the podium, has been on pole this season, but has it been one pole only? Or was it last season? But Racing now takes it away, as Kaname takes it away in the Alpine then. The times on tumbling down, the pressure is on, as Kaname, the championship leader, is currently in pole position for the time being then, as it's an Alpine 1-2, there they are. Alpine have been working well so far together this season, fantastic between those two, but it's not only just Fireblaze versus Kaname, it's got a constructors battle between those guys as well. A bit of yellow flags down there as well, as Laser makes his way back in the pit lane. Dominic, however, also headed back in the pit lane as well. MDJ currently on the flying lap, but unfortunately he has invalidated. Remember, season 15, MDJ was the championship leader headed towards Miami, but he spun in the Mickey Mouse section there. He dropped it all by himself, and unfortunately lost the championship lead. As Hurricane went on to win his 3rd race in a row that season as well. What such good memories there as well between all these guys. Hurricane winning in season 15, but lost the win towards Hazara as they made contact going down towards this corner here at turn 17. And yeah, such fantastic memories indeed. Laser piece of a podium as well in P3 in season 15 as well, but ahead of Nordus because there was a safety car. A safety car came out due to Rogue Smithy. Not surprising there, but we know Rogue Smithy's improved a lot. He's matured as Adams goes up into P14 ahead of MDJ. So RB currently occupying 13th and 14th place as Yoram in the Mercedes then as he heads down in towards turn 1. Massive lockup, and he can't even get the car turned in as he has a massive slide going in towards turn 1 there. I think too much rear instability, too much rear lock in there, causing that to slide, and unfortunately that lap time is ruined before he's got started. But this is his first flying lap, and look at that. There's only 3 minutes left to go in this session. So this session has absolutely flown by. And so far, it's an RP 1-2 with Rising Star P3 and Fireblaze in 4th place as well. Ramavaj, a decent job in 5th place. Remember, he could have scored a podium back in season 15, but unfortunately had that 3-second time to his name and got dropped out of contention. Langfell and Draugen scored their best results here. Season 15 in 4th and 6th place. Or season 16, shall I say. I get confused between those 2 seasons. But yeah, in fact, yeah. I think it was season 15 when they scored the best results here. Because 1 season later, then Hazara came in. Draugen scored a podium as well. Not too long ago. But on board with the majority of drivers are in at the pit lane. The sound keeps dipping in and out, so I'm not quite sure what's going on here, but hopefully it's not dipping in and out for you guys. I just tend to lose the noise a bit. And Yoram then heads back in the pit lane as he's made a big mistake in the first corner, as we've got Maff out there so far. Mazzaroni in 8th place, and let's see how he does on his debut in the Haas as well. Both Haas's currently running inside the top 10, and I know both Haas's need the points because Hussein came in quite late in the session as well, quite late in the season. I'm surprised he hasn't picked up a podium, but his results has been promising in the last few races, has Hussein. His best result came in the Japanese Grand Prix, just finishing in 4th place there, just been shy off a podium. But we know he's got some decent pace, but can he transfer it into a podium potentially? Japan, he was super close, but I remember in the second stint that he just dropped off the pace a little bit behind, I think it was Rise of Star at the time, because Rise of Star was losing traction. Fireblaze was fighting with Kaname and Nico, because Kaname and Nico had a fantastic battle in the wet conditions, and both of them had a 3-second tap penalty. Fireblaze didn't, but Fireblaze just missed out its first win of the season. We've got a stampede of cars heading out on the circuit end for the final stages here in qualifying. It's this man in 8th place, Mazzaroni, who's going to go for his last flying lap around here, his last tour around the Miami circuit. And let's see where he could put his Haas as we head down towards turn 1. Just missing the apex slightly, upshifting through 4th gear, short shifting to reduce the wheel spin as we head through turn 3. Nice and easy flat out before we go into the high speed section. In towards 4 we go, flicking it, carrying the speed through 7th gear. In towards 5, use a bit of curb on the apex. You can see through 6 now as we head through this long looping left-hander, trying to connect with the apex. Takes a late apex there, runs out wide on the curb, uses the battery as well. Look at that, 2/10 up in the first sector for the Haas driver. Can he keep it up as now DRS is enabled on this short straight headed down in towards turn 11? Will the Haas catch up towards traffic, because majority of it is in the last sector? So hopefully those guys in the last sector acknowledge that Mazzaroni is on a lap time, because if they don't, they're going to ruin his lap time and ruin his potential, try and get himself up the order, because this seems like a decent qualifying lap so far from the Haas man as he swoops it in towards the slow left-hander we go, in towards 16. Now exits the corner. Oh my goodness, he's lost a bit of time there. And I think he bogged down a bit as well because he lost traction. Well, he didn't lose traction. He just upshifted too early and got bogged down. A bit sluggish on the corner there, so he's backed off, unfortunately. So he's technically in sync with everybody else, but at the same time though he's low on battery, lower than expected to have 1%, have a full battery, but hopefully he can get that battery back. But Kaname then is a few hundreds down in the middle sector, or first sector shall I say, as he makes his way down towards turn 11 we go. Takes it very nicely. Kaname has been on form this season, may have not got many wins this season, but he does have consistency, and consistency is key to win a championship. As Kaname now makes his way over chicane he goes. Turn 16 seems very nice as he gets back on the power once again, but unfortunately he is down. And Laser Lord did not make the lap, did he? No, he didn't. He's missed out. So Laser unfortunately has missed out, and he was swooping around on the formation lap, well, not the formation lap, his out lap there. So Laser misses out qualified by Ramavaj. Now we've got Kaname out of turn 17. Can he extend the bar? Can he take pole away? And he can. Well, he can't, but he does stay on pole. But let's see if anybody else improves. Mason improves in the first sector by a few hundredths of a second, but Kaname did not improve on his personal best. As we head through turn 16 we go for his teammate. His teammate has lost a bit of time. Fireblaze up into P3, Remy up into P5. And where's Rising Star? Rising Star is 2/10 up, and he gets a nice, almost a big crash there between the Williams and the Mercedes driver. As hopefully that guy gets on the way right now. It's an Alpine. It's the Alpine giving Mercedes a slipstream. The rival team, the two teams fighting for first place in the championship. Rising Star makes its way down towards the line. Is it pole for Rising Star? It is! Rising Star takes pole with a 25.1, and racing potentially helped him down the straight. Two rivals going for the championship in first and second, working together. You don't really see that nowadays. As where's the Haas then? Ran out of fuel, unfortunately, as he stays in P11. Rising Star back on pole for the first time since the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix last season. What a fantastic drive from him. But, like I said, we know he does struggle in terms of longevity. I say it every single week, but I really hope something changes, because it looks like Rising Star is not able to manage the tyres or coat well like other people do. Is it temperature related? Is it tyre wear? Is he pushing too much, etc.? Is he not adapting to the conditions on the racetrack? Who knows? But it could be a factor of things. The Saudi man that takes pole ahead of Kaname. The two LPs second and third. Fireplace in fourth. Samuel Gill on his debut in P5 ahead of Behrami. Decent qualifying for Behrami in P6 there. Ramavaj in P7 ahead of Hussein. Dragon Knight Laser in P10. Mafasoni in P11 ahead of Dominic. And Langfell 13. Adams 14th. Yarum and MDJ. And four people who did not take part in qualifying due to qualifying bans except Volakongan and Nico. Nordus, Hurricane, Volakongan and Nico Rassenberg. This should be an interesting race because watch out for the likes of those four at the back of the field. We know their race pace has been formidable in the past before, and we know Nordus as well can be quite strong around this circuit. He did choose the soft compound tyres, which surprised me because season 15 when I think Rose Smithy caused that safety car, Nordus pitted onto a brand new set of soft compound tyres and they were 13 laps old and they died towards the end as well because the medium runners had better grip than the soft compound tyres and therefore Nordus dropped backwards. So I'm quite surprised he went for that strategy. Just to reiterate, it is me unfortunately tonight. I don't have a partner with me for the first time this season, but oh well, I think I can manage on my own. I've been through many solo commentaries before, but Owen Mansell, unfortunately, my partner this season in F1 or Division 1 for the past 2 seasons, has called it quits on the F1 game. He will be no longer with us, and hopefully wish him for the best. Hopefully he turns up for the next game as well, because I think he lost a lot of I think a lot of people on this game just lost a lot of motivation. Like, I've noticed a lot of people just don't seem to enjoy it. Obviously, this game hasn't really been the best. We all know of the handling, etc. And Samuel Gill is definitely happy with his lap time. P5 is something to be happy about for the Racing Bull driver. But what can he do in the race is a different story, or is a different question. We know that 29 laps around him and can be a bit difficult. Concentration is required as well. You can be very strategic with strategies, etc. as well. I can be very consistent as well, because some places around this racetrack can catch a lot of people out as well. Samuel Gill says race is my worst thing, unfortunately. Well, qualifying for me is my worst. It's just, my worst thing really, because I'm not good at qualifying, but my race pace is there, thankfully. A few people have their own styles and preferences. Like, some could be good in the race, some could be bad in the race, but it all depends, though, about setup as well and how you get a feel for the car, because you've got a longevity, you've got heavy fuel, degraded tyres every single lap, changing conditions as well. But we do know when the medium compound tyres, when they start to wear off as well, it's not a nice feeling, is it? Just driving around on an old piece of rubber that is basically just chewed up and useless, just can't seem to get any grip back in those medium compound tyres. When they degrade, they get worse and worse. The hard compound tyres, though, are just so durable. You can take them for such a long way in towards the Grand Prix, but is the strategy going to be hards to mediums? Is it mediums to hards? We're about to find out anytime soon, but I don't expect to have anybody to have a set of soft compound tyres, or maybe, I don't want to say that just in case, but we know 4 people, though, have a whole brand new set of softs, so could that be doable later on in the Grand Prix when we see the soft compound tyres introduced when the safety car comes out potentially? That's happened before, but Nobles pitted onto a brand new set of softs, but it cost him dearly towards the end because there was still a long way to go, and there's about 30 laps left to go. I'm scared it's my first race, hoping not to crash. Well, just be sensible in the first few corners. Don't do anything daft, and most importantly, just have fun, really. You're not really fighting for a championship. Just see what happens in your first race, really. Just if the gap's there, go for it. If it isn't, or if it's half-hearted, then don't go for it. But just be cautious. I think you want to have a nice introduction to this league. When it's your first race, you want to give a good impression, really, don't you? You don't want to be Nikita Mazepin or someone like that who crashes in the third corner. But we even spoke about the Miami Grand Prix in real life. So in fact, we haven't spoke about Saudi Arabia either. So we've got a lot to talk about, but unfortunately there's a lot going on in league racing. So why not talk about Miami? Samuel says, I'm heard enough. I'm dive bombing everyone. Well, if you do dive bomb people, make sure you do it cleanly. Go from 5th to 1st. We've seen that somebody in Division 2 called Xenum last season, he went from 5th to 2nd. He made a beautiful move in towards turn 1. and he didn't make contact with anybody. But unfortunately, he spun in turn 2. All that good work to spin in turn 2 on lap 2 as well. I'll never forget that. Me and Oliver on the commentary box that day. But finally, the formation lap is getting underway then, and we should see the tyres people have gone for then. Here we go with the tyre allocation, and we've got a split set then. I say more people in the hards than the mediums then, so Rise of Star in first place, got the hard on ahead of Canadian. Well, sorry, I didn't mean to say that, but yeah, Rise of Star on the hardcore powered tyres, the 2 Alpines on the mediums then, which is quite interesting. But interestingly for me, that Canadian, he always likes to go for the ultra strategy. He did it back at the Canadian Grand Prix as well. Well, I wouldn't say the ultimate strategy, I'd say the offset strategy. So basically what that means is try and take those mediums for a long time, so you can have the best life of the horse towards the end, the better grip towards the end of the hardcore powered tyres. That's what he does sometimes, but it hasn't always paid off in his favours. I remember back at the Hungarian Grand Prix when he missed out catching Rising Star and Jensen for the win as well. In Belgium as well, he left it quite late to try and do the offset strategy, and he also did it back at the Canadian Grand Prix as well. So it cost him dearly in Canada because he lost the DRS train and couldn't get towards it. So, and in Abu Dhabi, but I think it worked effectively in Abu Dhabi for him. But we'll see how it works here tonight as well for the RP driver. We know racing, we know Rising Star. In terms of longevity, they do tend to struggle in race pace. Will they drop off here in Miami? We're about to find out, but Rising Star is on the hardcore power tyres. It's a shame for Rising Star because it must be a sinking feeling. It must really suck that you got really good qualifying pace, but when it comes to the race, you just slowly drop backwards. And even though you're in the DRS train, it just can't seem to find a way to try and stay there, maintain it, and capitalise from it later on in the Grand Prix. He has got 2 podiums this season. One, in fact, both of his podiums have been in the first 2 races, interestingly. So, Rise of Star hasn't had a podium since the second race of the season back in Hungary when it was Mercedes 1-2. And he finished second as well in Mexico. So, Rise of Star has been podiumless in the last few races, didn't turn up at the Qatar Grand Prix or the Canadian Grand Prix, but he's here now, and his backup pole is the man from Saudi Arabia. Let's see, can he convert it into a win? We've got 29 laps ahead of us for this race. We'll get away under shortly. All 20 drivers ready as the engines roar. Look above you to the panels. Look but never stare. 3, 4, 5 lights. And let's see what happens going down in towards the first corner. We are underway for round 14. The Alpine on the second row gets a good start already. Look at the launch he had as we head down towards turn 1. Here comes Knabe up to the inside, but Rising Star tries to go around the outside, but he can't quite do so. Contact in towards the first corner there between Rising Star as Racing takes away second place as it's an Alpine 1-2. Fireplace just behind as well. Looks trying to take advantage as we've got the laser dropping down the order into P10. He goes on the mini compound tyres, but so far all 20 drivers, I dare say, have made it out unscathed. There's MDJ and Nico making contact through there. It's very tight going towards that first sector as we've got Hurricane up the inside. We've got a few people dropping backwards as MDJ spun and he's hit the wall too. Is that going to cause a VSC or safety car? I'm not quite sure, but MDJ has been taken out of the equation. But look at Fireblaze, looking really racy so far behind Rising Star. Let's see what happens going down towards to 11. You can see that Rising Star trying to look for a move. And here comes the Aston Martin of Ramovaj on the back of Beremy as well. Both Hasses as well, P7 and P8 doing a good job. And they both have split the strategy. One's on the hards and the other's on the mediums. Maybe both Hasses might swap around. And Dominic and Volakonga going side by side in that chicane we go. Nice one there between those two. And Nico now fancy a piece of the action as well. Nico side by side with the Williams driver. Dominic gets shuffled down into P15 as Volakonga goes through. Nico Rassenberg goes up into P14, so great start from those two. Both Hasses do swap places as here comes Maffazoni, puts himself into P7 ahead of Hussein. We can see that laser right behind Langfell as he tries to go for a move. Can he make it stick? Yes, he does. He puts himself into P10. Nice one there from Laser, very optimistic indeed as he puts himself into 10th place, or defends 10th place actually, because he wasn't 10th originally. And here comes that Langfell back around the outside. It is. Wow. Caught Laser napping. Laser used a lot of battery, didn't he? And he had no battery left, and therefore got swamped by Langfell. As Langfell now retakes Peter away. So it's been a bad start from one of our championship contenders for Laser Law. Let's see how many places he's dropped or gained. Yes, lost 1 place, it must be said there for Laser. Trying to survive in P10 for the Aston Martin driver. But so far, it's an Alpine 1-2 as McLaren gets all squirrely out of turn number 9 there. That's Langford, lose the back end slightly, but makes out escape. DRS should be enabled then on this lap, so overtaking will be possible going down towards the corner. Here comes Fireblaze up into P3 ahead of Rising Star. Now his targets, his sights are set on the 2 Alpine drivers ahead, but crucially, he needs to get himself in DRS range of Racing Imola, because if he doesn't, he might struggle to get himself back in DRS range. He's gained 9th, he's getting 10th there in that chicane he goes. Can he stay in DRS range? We're about to find out now. Oh, just about, or did he? The gap is 1 second between himself and Racing. So did he get the DRS? The answer is no, he did not, unfortunately. As we see Ramavaj right behind Remy. There they go side by side in towards turn number 17 we go. Ramavaj has the inside line and he makes it on the brakes there as well. Good move there from Ramavaj, puts himself into P5. And this is the man we see from seasons ago. Kaname now sets the fastest for the Grand Prix as Fireblaze is under immediate pressure from Rising Star right behind as we head down towards turn 1. So, Alpine so far have got this under control as once again these two scrapping out for P10 and P11 as Langford gets on the curb at the exit of turn 2 as Laser is derated there trying to harvest some battery after fighting quite hard in the opening laps of the Grand Prix, trying to stay ahead of Langford. But Volakongan is right behind as well, looking to take a piece of the action. Volakongan and Nico made up a handy amount of places as well. Let's have a look to see how many places they made, as Volakongan's made up 7 and Nico made up 7 as well. So great from both of them. But that was very important there for both RP drivers to get themselves out of DRS range of the rest of the field then whilst they're on the hard compound tyres. As Rising Star, he does not go for the move just yet, but Remy looking very good around the outside there. Birds goes a bit deep, and here comes the House of Junior now side by side. Math trying to go for a move in a unconventional place to overtake. Here we go up the inside. That's a lovely lunge. Great lunge indeed there, but gets out of shape in the corner, but still keeps it pointing in the right direction. Mafasoni then puts himself into P6 ahead of Remy, but look at this, Rising Star and Fireblaze once again continue their battle. They're dropping a lot of time towards the top 2. Kaname and Racing, first and second, are pulling away from the rest of the field there, whilst these two continue to scrap on the hard compound tyres as Remy then is behind another Haas. So 2 places lost there, unfortunately for Remy, in the space of a few corners as both Hasses go through. Volakongan opens to P9. Volakongan now sets the fast up of the Grand Prix in 9th place there. He's on an absolute charge as the Red Bull goes out wide towards turn number 1, but Volakongan can't go through in towards the first because we go. Remy looks like he's struggling already in the Grand Prix as well, as Nico Rassenberg has been overtaken by actually Hurricane. So Nico, did he make a mistake, or did Hurricane just simply overtake him? But however, Hurricane is now open to P12, chasing that group of cars in front of him, consisting of Laser, Dragon and Volakongan as well. Volakongan, and look at this then, Racing might take the lead away from his teammate. Yes, he will then. So he goes up into first place ahead of Kaname. I presume these two are departed with each other because they've worked so well with each other this season. It must be said, as Mafasoni is right behind Ramavaj. He's going to go for the move. In towards 11 we go. Laying the brakes there, but the Haas goes around the outside to have the inside line for the next corner. Great move again for Mastazoni. He's had an absolute charge, is the Haas man there in P5. Unfortunately, messed up his last qualifying lap, but making it up from start to P11, up into P6 he goes now on the back of Fireblaze and Rising Star. So he's got some mighty pace, a mighty grip on his mini compound tyres. And here comes Fireblaze. Kaname takes the lead away from his teammates as Fireblaze goes through. Here comes the Haas then gaining with the DRS open. And I think he might go for the move going down towards turn 17. He's level pegging with Rising Star. Let's see then who gets ahead first. Massafoni with the mini compound tyre should have better grip, but Rising Star just stays in front for the time being, but they're losing a lot of time towards first and second place. I think Racing Imola and Kaname have done a mega job in first and second there to break away from the DRS train, using their mini compound tyres. They had to, really. They had no choice. They had to use the mini compound tyres, capitalise on them in the early stages of the Grand Prix, try and build up a gap as much as they can before those mini compound tyres start to drop away. It's very important for them to try and streak away because they know there's no point in fighting right now. They might as well trade DRS, and they've done exactly that. Racing Kaname dragging each other along and breaking themselves out of danger zone towards Fireblaze and the rest behind. So here we go with the DRS open once again for the Haas driver as he's looking for a move as Volakongi gets past the other Haas, and here he is, a double overtake, is it? Down in towards 11 we go. Ramavaj staying around the outside in towards 11, he does. Great defensive there from Ramavaj as we've got a spinner, is that Adams in the background. Oh, Noldus, unfortunately, has gone for a spin. As Samuel Gill has retired. And the Ferrari spun as well. MDJ's gone for a spin. So, Samuel Gill is out of the Grand Prix. And where is that? Is that before turn 11, isn't it? Has he retired on the track? I'm not quite sure. And here comes Rise of Star. I don't think he has. My apologies there for making that assumption. But he goes up into P13. I thought that I saw the car move, the blue dot move, as we see these two go side by side, but it's so close. I thought one of them would get squeezed in towards the wall. We saw that with Adams and Klausler last season in season 16 when they get put against the wall. And it's not a nice feeling. But here comes the Haasman Nan. Going in towards tunnel. Is that three abreast in the background? There's contact between those two as Romavaj just stays in front ahead of Hussein, and Laser is fighting with Nico Rassenberg as Biremi continues to drop down the order. The Red Bull is losing a lot of time, and now his teammate Harry Kane is right behind him. I'm happy racing here though. I know I did just get spun, unfortunately there. But here comes the McLaren on Nico up the inside of Laser. Can he make it stick? As yes he can. Nice move there from Nico to go up the inside. I do love seeing moves like that. Unfortunately we can't see that in real life because obviously the dirty etc. And we don't really see a lot of close racing here in Miami either. But here comes the two Red Bull drivers behind us in the background, and here comes Harry Kane up the inside of Laser Lord. Oh, there's contact, and he almost spins McLaren. Laser off the track, rejoins, bumps McLaren off, and here comes his teammate again, Biremi, and now Nico back down the inside as well, stays at P9. Wow, got all scary down there. But Jargon has a mistake, has he? He has. He made a big mistake somewhere, and unfortunately has dropped into P14. And Harry Kane, here he is. Laser's derated, has no chance to defend as Fireblaze is up into P3 once again, ahead of Rising Star, sorry. As Laser down towards the breaker zone, as once again the Ferrari's off the track in the high-speed section where Charles Leclerc crashed in 2023. That is MDJ. And I bet you $1 as well that these guys on the hardcore powered tyres, they do not need a safety car right now because it will screw up their strategy. But I dare say for the people on the medium compound tyres, on the alternate strategy, would work for a safety car right now, but not for racing because they might get double stats and held behind for a few seconds longer. But so far, so good between the both Alpine drivers there. A safety car can make or break people's races, and the people in the hard compound tyres be praying and wishing that the safety car does not come out right now. But for the people on the medium compound tyres, they don't care if a safety car comes out because they can take the hard towards the end. As racing now, back ahead, and these two, despite being on the mid compound tyres, and look at this then, three abreast in towards the corner we go, and that is Fireblaze ahead of Rise of Star, and that is Volakongan going around the outside of Massazavoni. Can he make it stick? He can. Volakongan muscles his way past, bumps himself into P5. What a fantastic drive. Expected this from Volakongan. Going from last up into first is the Sauber driver. Nico Rassenberg tries to do the same, but here comes Kaname on the back and ahead of his own teammate then. Great swapping, great teamwork between these two, and they've worked so well with each other the whole season. Racing hasn't picked up a win just yet this season, but he's definitely got the pace to do so. He hasn't even picked up a podium yet. This could be a big chance for him to get a podium this season. And look at this, Nico versus Romavaj out the corner. Nico gets ahead, and now Romavaj is under immediate pressure from Hussein right behind, who wiggles out the corner. Now making contact on the straight slightly towards turn 1 we go, and Romavaj trying to stay on the inside of the corner, but Hussein has the outside line converted to the inside, and he gets ahead of the Aston Martin driver as well. So Romavaj, despite a decent qualifying, has dropped down the order sadly. And here comes Harry Kane. Two big rivals between these two. We've had a lot of good battles between Harry Kane and the Hungarian of Romavaj, but he continues to drop down the order like a stone, unfortunately. That is P10 now, is the Aston Martin, and both Aston Martins as well, P10 and P11. Rise of Star on the back of Hurricane, Fireblaze once again. Here we go with the Ferrari and the Mercedes swapping places there. And here comes Volakongan. Gets past one, gets past the other. That's 2 for 1 before the breaker zone. Opens a P3 there as Fireblaze hits the back of him. And again, hits the back of Rise of Star there as well. Volakongan, great spatial awareness as well. Just picked the drivers off one by one, and he's up into P3. Can you believe it? Lap 8, and Hussein gets a 3-second time penalty. But look at that, P19 to P3 in 8 laps. That's the drive of a PSGL F1 champion there. Well, I don't know if he's a champion or not in PSGL, but I should know. But that's the drive of a PS F1 champion. There we go. As racing then back ahead of Kaname. So these two are looking comfortable as Hurricane is up. Do you know what? Nico and Hurricane did a good job so far as they get past the Hasses. Massaroni's unfortunately dropped off the pace here in 8th place. So he was up into 5th, but now he's dropped into 8th. And maybe it's the effects of the mini-comp power tyres starting to fade away. And the hardcore power tyres at this stage could be better. Hence why we're seeing these people on the medium start to drop away. And I think this is good for Rise of Star and Fireblaze because now Volakongan is ahead and Volakongan's got some mighty pace. Maybe that Volakongan try and catch up towards the top 2 and bring that gap down more and more as well because the crossover point maybe starting to happen between the mediums and the hards there. So therefore Volakongan can try and close in. That'll hold Rise of Star. That'll hold Fireblaze as well because Fireblaze can catch up towards his championship rival Kaname in P2. And there's 20 laps left to go, so plenty of laps left in this Grand Prix for anything to happen, but we see the 2 RP drivers getting so close there. They know Volakongan will possibly arrive on the scene very shortly, as both Hasses spot places. That's Hussein, who puts himself as a P8, but the Aston Martin goes deep in the braking zone and on later. Oh, Ramavaj spins the car, and he goes in the wall there. Ah, what a dismal race, unfortunately, for Fireblade. Ramavaj, she started down in 7th place, and now, fortunately, dropped towards the back of the field. There's a Haas. Has made a mistake somewhere. Where is he? He's dropped down the order. He has. And both Alpine drivers are swapping places. And Nico right behind Fireblaze. Here we go. The 3 abreast in towards turn 17. Nico backs out. But we've got Fireblaze and Rise of Star side by side in towards the braking zone. I dare say they should end this fight because the loss of DRS towards Volakongan now. Nico Rassenberg side by side with Fireblaze. Here we go. Down the main straight we go. As we head down towards turn number 1. Nico takes away 4 places away from both of them. And Rise of Star and Fireblaze still continue the battle in towards turn 1. And Rise of Star just stays ahead. So Fireblaze has lost 2 places there. And it's been dropped into P6. Nico Rassenberg, what a fantastic driver. So maybe he's gone for a spin, I think. That's the same place he spun, I think. Yeah, it is. That's reminiscent when he spun, I think, last season or season before. And Fireblaze is right behind Rise of Star once again. Poor Remy, a great qualifying. A difficult season for him. No podiums, no wins. But unfortunately, it has ended in retirement for the Red Bull team. He's left the session in rage as well, so it's been a shame for both Red Bulls. But here comes Rise of Star and Fireblaze. He gets ahead of Nico, doesn't he? So yeah, he's up into P4 now, ahead of Nico. Fireblaze just stays behind, but Volakongan has gained a second on the top 2. So you can definitely tell that Volakongan's got some mighty pace, plus the hardcore power tyres, which should be in better shape and form than the medium runners in first and second place. So both Alpines will soon have a bit of company later on the Grand Prix, but Volakongan catches up. And Nico Rassenberg also trying to progress through the field in P5. He's also one of those drivers that starts at the back of the field. And Harry Kane as well also starts at the back of the field. They're making their way up very nicely to the field. And Nico is now up into 4th place, but locks the rears up. And he keeps the car in control, thankfully. And Rise of Star and Fireblaze, and once again, these two continue their battle for 5th and 6th place. As Fireblaze can't seem to find a way past. We are back again. Had to take a bit of sip of water there because I am the lone commentator, so I had to take a bit of a drink of water. And we see Volakongan is almost in DRS range of 1st and 2nd place. There's some mighty pace Volakongan has as he sets a personal best in the first sector by 0.2 of a second. And we've got a spinner again. Who is that down in towards MDJ? Ooh, it wasn't him, but somebody else spun, I think. I'm not quite sure who it was. MDJ, the car has been protesting ever since the first few laps of the Grand Prix. Doesn't seem to have the same setup as yesterday, although it was raining in Division 2 yesterday. Full wet race it was. Jargon is ahead of Nordis. The 2 Norwegians there scrapping away for P10 and in P11 as well. Nordis, who almost picked up his first win back at the Chinese Grand Prix, as Jargon gets a second tablet to the Division 2 driver. As we see those two scrub away in the corner. But Nico can't seem to shake these guys behind. But look at Volakongan is right behind the 2 LP drivers then. As Rise of Star gets back into Nico. Here comes the Ferrari who blasts past as well. He goes up into P5. So Nico now, even though he's progressed up the order, he seems to find himself stuck in a DRS train. Because I thought once he got past those two with that mighty pace he had. Oh, Ferrari spun again. And if it caused safety car, then maybe the hardcore power tyre runners may be upset. Fireblaze goes up into P4 now ahead of Rise of Star. Safety car changed the trajectory of the Grand Prix during the 2024 Grand Prix because Kevin Magnussen and Sargent crashed in turn 3, I think it was. caused a safety car. Verstappen pitted already because his tyres were going off. Plus, he hit the bollard and had a bit of bodywork damage too. And Lando Norris, we know, went on to win his first race in his career as Romanovich has pitted and ended his race in retirement. So 3 people out, which is Romanovich, Remy, and Samuel Go. This track is difficult. But here comes Volokongan, and let's get back on board with that battle quickly. There we go then. Volokongan hitting the back of Kaneem, or races, sorry, as the 2 Alpines there trying to keep the Sauber boxed in and behind. But, oh, there's a spinning Ferrari there. And Kaneem had to back out because there was a yellow flag in that section too. So Volokongan now puts himself into P2. I'm really sorry, by the way, because I didn't really catch the battle quickly enough. But the race director not paying attention. My fault about that one. I am the commentator and the race director at the same time. As Volokongan now is in the lead of the Grand Prix. So it took him 12 laps from start to 19th place. He's up into first. What a fantastic drive it's been for Volokongan. And we know his second stint, he put the medium compound tyres, well, the faster tyre towards the end. So Volokongan should be very quick now from here on in. Well, with the medium with a start up here as well. It's lap 13 out of 29. And we've got the Haas of Mazzoni in P15 who's gone for a pit stop. He's pitted on the hard compound tyres. And Ryson and Nico now goes side by side towards turn 3. And Nico is up into P5 once again. So this seems to be these guys there squabbling as Harry Kane now is at the back of this battle. Laser has dropped away considerably, and Rising Star taking a lot of curve there, almost lost the car as well, going in towards the high-speed section. We'll go through turn 8 right now. Back of the power we go once again. But can the 2 Alpines stand the back of Volokongan as we now got Kaneem on his teammate as they both swap places there? I think they're trying to stay in DRS range of Volokongan. I think the further they extend, the better for these guys, as once again, these 3 swapping places, Nico and Harry Kane, side by side in the breakers. There we go. We have seen a bit of contact between these 2 before back in Austria, between Nico and Harry Kane. And Nico puts himself into P4. Harry Kane is in P5. Do you know what? A decent drive from Harry Kane so far. I really wished he didn't have that qualifying ban, but what could he have done during this Grand Prix? Because Harry Kane is a race winner, of course, here back in season 15, and almost won in season 16 until him and Hazara made contact in towards this particular part of the track in turn 17. But Racing now has dropped away from his own teammates, so I think he starts to feel the effects of the medium compound tyres maybe falling away as Harry Kane has a bit of a moment out of turn 17 there. It is a heavy traction zone, plus you're in dirty here as well, so it's so difficult to get on the power as well as the tyres age as well. But Nico leads his battle in P4. I think that in hindsight, it's a wonderful thing, really, isn't it? But in the moment, it all changed because you don't really think in the moment, you just do. But I think that Fireblaze and Rising Star, they should have worked together, shouldn't they? They should have worked together and not fight each other, because I think that when they start fighting each other, they lost the deal. Oh, Harry Kane's off the track there, and he might have picked himself up a invalidation, unfortunately for him. Hopefully that's his first strike. But I think that Fireblaze and Rising Star, they should have worked together in the first stint. They should have worked together, used each other for DRS, and when Volokongan got past them, follow Volokongan if they could. But Volokongan, as you know, pulls away, builds up big gaps as well, because Kaneem and Racing have lost the DRS, as I think somebody's gone for a spin, have they? Who is it? It's a Haas. Oh, a shame for the Haas there. His race goes from bad to worse, unfortunately for him. He had a fantastic qualifying, did Mazzoni, sorry, but unfortunately he's dropped down to P16. What a tongue twister that name that is. I'm pretty sure it's easy to pronounce, but obviously when you're speaking fast, you don't really think, do you? So, both Alpines are taking their medium compound tyres a long way, because the people that started the medium compound tyres, they've gone into the hards now. Laser has been the latest one to pit to go on the hard compound tyres, but surely now, yes, Kaneem pits now on this lap. Do you know what? Great pace, because Nico, Hurricane and Fireblaze, they haven't caught up, have they? They really haven't used the hard compound tyres to their advantage to catch up towards the people on the old medium compound tyres. So great race pace there from both Alpine drivers. And that first lap has really helped him streak away from the rest of their rivals as well. So Racing in P2 is left on his old medium compound tyres, just trying to survive and make sure he doesn't make any mistakes as well, as Kaneem rejoins in P10. Nico pitted onto a medium compound tyre, so I think Nico is trying to do the undercut. 14 laps to the set of mediums is doable, but obviously won't have the best tyre life towards the end, so he's gone for the early pit stop, trying to undercut, because he's been stuck in that DRS train, hasn't he? He's been stuck in that battle, and I think he wants to undercut those guys ahead as well, to try and build up a gap and try and be alone in the Grand Prix, try and catch the Alpine drivers off guard. But Nico's 2.4 seconds away, and Kaneem rejoins behind Adams. Hopefully this is an easy overtake for the RP driver as Drago gets ahead of Nordis again. So unfortunately Haas has retired in the pit lane. Kinane now swoops past Adams, puts himself into P9 ahead of the Racing Bull. Who do I think has got the best strategy? I think Kinane is on a good strategy here with P9 as well, on a bonus set of hardcore pod tyres. I think, I don't know. We'll see towards the Grand Prix, we'll see, won't we? It all depends if a safety car does come out or not. But look at the lines he's taking as well, trying to maximise every single part of the racetrack. He's very good at doing that as well, as the yellow flag continues to be deployed on the main straight. As Hurricane now pits then to respond possibly to the undercut from Nico, as Racing has also pitted as well. As Rise Star gets a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and that's a huge blunder for his race now. His race has definitely been ruined, and a 10-second penalty will be served to his race time after the Grand Prix. And let's see, where does Nico rejoin in all of this? Does Nico get the undercut on Hurricane as we head down now towards turn 1? Nico needs to get the undercut of those guys ahead. Does he? No. Racing gets ahead, but we know Racing had a big gap. But here comes Nico on his mini compound tyres, as I thought for one moment he would try to go for it on the Racing, but stays behind him. So we know that Racing had about a 3-second gap before he pitted. That's why he's still in front, but Nico's right to the back of him as well. Adams is in between Kinane of Racing, and Nico's right behind on the fresh set of the mini compound tyres. So Nico did get the undercut on Hurricane, which suggests to me when Fireblaze pits, Fireblaze will rejoin way further down as the number contact there as well. And here comes, it's 3 abreast there, with Adams getting swapped in the middle, on the right side, sorry, as we head down towards the breaker. So Nico puts himself into P7 Racing up into P8, and Hurricane as well follows through P10. So the top 5 left yet to pit in the Grand Prix. I think Volokongan might respond on this lap to make sure that nobody does the undercut on him, especially Kinane, who's rapid so far, as Volokongan then stays out as the Sauber driver of Jargon. Once again, these two have had their own personal scrap in this Grand Prix. They've been constantly changing positions, has Nordis and Jargon, but Fireblaze and Hussein have pitted then to get off their hardcore power tyres, go in the mediums, and I presume that Fireblaze will be undercutted, but will the fresher tyres help it towards in the Grand Prix? With that little bit of an offset he has, we'll see as Nico now sets the quickest time of the race in 5th place. There he goes, 27.4. So there's 12 laps left to go in this Grand Prix, and so far Volokongan has the lead ahead of Nordis, but we know the top 3 haven't pitted just yet in the Grand Prix. Kinane is in a net P4, but Nico is catching Kinane. But I wonder though, towards the latter stage of the Grand Prix, will Nico's tyres start to drop off? He may have the advantage now, but by pitting a bit too early, I dare say, will the advantage swing towards Kinane's way? Because now Nico's in DMS range of Kinane, and yeah, I think his hardcore power tyres might be better towards the end. As a Ferrari, once again, you know what? You've got to give respect to MDJ, despite a lap down, despite spinning, and it's a Sauber one too. But we know there's a massive gap between those two there. Jargon has got to pit, so does Nordis. Yeah, but back to my point for MDJ. Despite having multiple spins, he's still going, because I think most people like me would have quit by now. A lap down, and no hope in the Grand Prix whatsoever. But MDJ, I think he's driving for fun. I really hope that there's one thing he doesn't cause, a safety car, because I know MDJ is a driver that doesn't want to cause one on purpose, but let's say like he continues to struggle with what he's doing and he does hit the wall. Ooh, as we've got Nico ahead, Hurricane's ahead of Adams, as we've got Rise of Star go through as well, up into P8, as Adams hasn't pitted just yet in the Grand Prix either. But like I said, hopefully MDJ doesn't cause a safety car, because it'll completely destroy some people's races. But like I said, if he does cause safety car, it won't be on purpose, because I know MDJ. He doesn't. He's not that type of driver to do so. He's been racing since 2018, 2017 in league racing. So yeah, he knows what it's like. Hopefully Vettel returns as well, because last time Vettel raced around here, he crashed in qualifying and he crashed in the Grand Prix in the Mickey Mouse section as well. So hopefully Vettel, and talk about MDJ, he has retired in the pit lane then, so he calls it quits for a day, and there's 15 left to go in the Grand Prix. MDJ tried, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. I think for his own safety, well, I say safety, but I think for his own sake that retiring in the pit lane was the best thing, as Jarl was also called it quits for the day as well. So he's also a driver who is ours, but he's a reserve driver, so thank you for taking part in the Grand Prix, as Hurricane is ahead of Racing now. They go side by side, we go, as Racing trying to keep his foot there, but Hurricane has the outside line converted to the inside line, and nice move, but Racing does have the DRS, as Racing goes a bit deep, and now Rise to Star might take advantage. They go wheel to wheel, as Rise to Star gets super close to the wall on the outside. Rise to Star now up to P5, as Volokongan, as Norris gets a penalty, but Volokongan has pitted, and I presume that Nico will get the undercut, Kaname will get the undercut, Hurricane potentially too. But Volokongan will have the best tyres towards in the Grand Prix on the mediums, and 10 laps left to go. It should be his to win. So here we go. I presume Kaname and Nico will go through to take the lead of the Grand Prix. Hurricane should come through. Maybe, or maybe not though, because look at that. Here comes Volokongan. Where is he? There he is, right behind the top two. So those guys behind did not get the undercut. That's the blistering pace for Volokongan there. Mighty pace from the Kicksauber. He's definitely in a good position with the Grand Prix now. Nico leads, but for how much longer? Because Volokongan is on the prowl. But Kaname, even though his chances of winning the Grand Prix are getting slimmer and slimmer because Volokongan is behind him, he don't care because his main targets tonight is Jensen, who's not here, Fireblaze, Nordis, Laserlord. And look at this, 3 at Bristol, but Nico goes defensive, but where can he go? And here comes Volokongan down the inside. Lower the brakes we go, and he gets forced off the road. They both on the track. Kaname goes through. He takes the lead of the Grand Prix. But hopefully, Volokongan and Nico can get going as Nico lets Volokongan go then. As they both went deep in the brakes in towards 11, and Kaname streaks ahead then. So could this be a door opening for Kaname? But I dare say that Volokongan will be back in DRS term any shortly as well. And what's going on here then between Volokongan and Nico? Volokongan is defending on the left hand side, and he lets him go. Does Volokongan then? I'm not quite sure if these are mind games or not, but here comes Hurricane now up to P4. Hurricane could be looking very strong for a podium too. Could Kaname be under massive pressure? Because I dare say Nico and Volokongan could catch up towards Kaname again and bring the rest of the train along. That train goes from what? Down to P8 with Hussein on the back of it. So these two making contact has brought the rest of the guys into play, I dare say. And this could be... Oh! Nico's spot is hit the wall! And he's lost his wing as well. So Nico now has been definitely been forced out of contention here. And Hurricane is on the podium too. Oh, what a shame for Nico. Lost traction out of turn 2. And now Hurricane is right at the back of his Norwegian compatriot. Fighting for a podium. Can you believe it? This man, Hurricane, has been struggling to fight for a podium for the whole season. He has been struggling, and he has had no pace or luck whatsoever, except Abu Dhabi when he won the Grand Prix. But ever since then, with spins, the wrong setup, not having the race pace in general, been unlucky from time to time as well. He's up there in P3, but we still got Rise to Star there. But he does have a 10-second time penalty. We've got Racing in P5 on the hardcore power tyres still, so watch out for him. He could be also one to watch out for towards the end of the Grand Prix. We've got Fireblaze at P6, but actually, Racing's dropped away from the DRS range, so Fireblaze needs to make the move now to be enabled to stay in the fight for 4th and 3rd place. Kaname now, valiant effort from him, but I dare say that Volokongan will win this Grand Prix with the pace he has so far. Oh, here comes Fireblaze right behind Racing as we go around the outside, is it? In towards turn 17, but no, not enough space. Doesn't have the grip to do so, but surely now down towards turn 1, he should get him. He's losing a lot of time. But I think Racing is doing his teammate a favour by holding Fireblaze up. Here comes Hussein. Optimistic move on the inside. Nice move indeed from the Hash driver. He now puts himself into P6. So for the battle for the podium then, I think it's between Fireblaze too far away. But the question is though, can he get himself a DRS range of Rise to Star very quickly? Because if he doesn't do so, then Rise to Star and Hurricane pull away. Hurricane's just barely surviving on the back of the DRS of Volokongan here. And Volokongan's got the DRS at the back of Kaname as well. So despite that error, down towards turn number, I think it's turn 11, Volokongan has caught up quickly. He doesn't have DRS. Yes, he does now. The Kicksauber unleashes the DRS open. No pun intended indeed. I know it says unleash on the back of the Sauber, but I wasn't even thinking about that. But Hussein gets ahead of Fireblaze. Not good news for him at all. But at least it brings him to the DRS range of Rise to Star, so maybe a chance for him to stay in the battle for the podium. Hussein, however, has done a good job, but unfortunately does have that 3-second penalty just on his shoulders. But Volokongan then, here he is, right behind Kaname. I don't think Kaname should fight this. I think he wants to, but obviously the inevitable's coming. His main target in the last 3 races is not to make any mistakes because... Oh, we've got yellow flags down there. Is that Dominic? Dominic's gone for a spin. Yes, he has. What a shame there for Dominic as well, who had a good qualifying session and qualified inside the top 10. No, he didn't. He started 12, but yeah, it's just not been a good race for him at all. But the question is now, can Kaname stick in the back of Volokongan, or is Volokongan just going to streak away like he did in the first stint? Let's see then if Volokongan can break away from this train, or break away from Kaname. I think Kaname's main worry is to watch out for Hurricane in P3 on the mini compound tyres then. So Kaname might be in a bit of trouble towards the end with Hurricane blistering pace in the Red Bull. But his main target, regardless of where he finishes, is to get ahead of his main championship rivals. That's all he needs to do. He may not be thinking about that right now because on the track we want to win the Grand Prix. On the track we want to get as many places as we can. But his main championship rivals is Fireblaze, Laser and Jensen. Jensen's not here tonight, so that's a whole bunch of points gained for him on Jensen. But Laser and Fireblaze, the two guys behind in P6 and in P8, hasn't gone Laser's way so far in the Grand Prix. Did struggle in the first in the mini compound tyres, was outside the top 10 during the first in the Grand Prix. In 11th place, as Rise of Star, I think, hits the wall on the outside in towards 17 there. But interestingly though, Kaname is able to stick with Volokongan, so this might help him in the long-term game here. Might actually help him defend from Hurricane if he stays like this. Fireblaze now gets ahead of Hussein. These two cannot catch up towards the DRS to the back of Rise of Star or Hurricane either. Fireblaze, though, we're looking for damage limitation, I dare say, because P4 is possibly what could get best. Because we know Rise of Star, he has a 30-second time penalty, so Fireblaze is looking for P4 at the minimum, hoping that Racing doesn't catch up. He is there in the fight in P7, so I think Fireblaze needs to watch out for the Alpine drive behind. But Fireblaze, though, is desperately trying to get himself in the DRS range, was mighty quick in qualifying, but he's almost in DRS range. He is right now, but just slips away from it slightly. Is the only time he can find to get himself in DRS range? He can't. He keeps dipping in and out of that second. It must be so infuriating when you're in a second of somebody, but just drop out in the very last second before the detection point. That is so frustrating. He does have the DRS, but not... Oh, yes, he does. He has DRS open there, so that does help him. A saving grace for him. But I've noticed as well that now Kaname is following Volokongan. Hurricane has lost a bit of time because the gap was 1.5 a few laps ago. The gap's 3 seconds then. So Kaname has been helped, and maybe Kaname could still win his Grand Prix. But can he, though? I think the smart thing for Kaname to do is to just stick in the back of Volokongan throughout the whole race until the last few laps. Save battery right now because look at the battery status he has. Maybe he's trying to use a bit of battery to try to stay with Volokongan because Volokongan is on the better medium compound tyres, so he has more grip, more speed in the slow speed, high speed section. Therefore, Volokongan can pull away, and Kaname may be forced into using ERS. So that's why it's quite low on the steering wheel. As once again, these two just been glued to each other the whole race. And here comes Nico as he hits the back of Dragon. As now Dragon goes a bit deep in the corner. Nico looking for a switch back, but a bit of contact made between those two there. Dragon and Nodus have been fighting for the whole race. As Rise of Star is still pressurising, and Fireblaze as well as P5. So Fireblaze is catching Rise of Star and Hurricane, but he knows Fireblaze has to get past Rise of Star to have a chance and have a go for third place. Who is third place going to belong to? Is it Hurricane? Is it Fireblaze? We're about to find out anytime given. But Fireblaze needs to get past Rise of Star. Nico gets a penalty, and here comes Fireblaze with the overspeed with the DRS. Here comes Rise of Star, and Fireblaze. Oh, here comes the Hassan on the outside, but gets a 3-second time penalty. As we head down towards turn number 11, we go. Hurricane just defends. We've got a Haas on the inside, but Fireblaze surely has to run in towards the next corner, take the racing line, and he stays ahead. I think Fireblaze was reacting from the guy behind because I thought for 1 second he might go in the middle and take all three of us out, but he didn't because I think he was reacting from Hussein. I didn't realise Hussein was catching him quickly either, and that could have been very, very hectic going down towards 11. But we know Rise of Star is defending as hard as he can. We know that Rise of Star, well, we know Mercedes is in the championship fight for the constructors as well, so maybe Rise of Star has something to try and prove for that one as well in P4, hence why he's defending quite hard, because when you have a 30-second time penalty, you want to fight for pride, obviously, you don't want to just give up, but I know how it feels as a driver when you see a guy ahead of you who has a 30-second time penalty, you think, why is this guy fighting so hard? He doesn't need to, there's no benefit, there's no loss, but this is what also is the problem too. You can see Hurricane is derating. You saw him out of turn 3 going towards turn 4, derating down that short straight. And that's why these guys are bunched up, because Hurricane is trying to save as much battery as he can. Rising Star is not going to go for the move, obviously, because DRS is enabled on this particular part of the track. So it's all tactics going on here in terms of deployment and the DRS line. But here we go then. This should get very spicy indeed towards the 11, because all these guys are bunched up behind Hurricane. Every single one of them have DRS. And here comes Fireblaze. As we head down, in towards 11 we go. Rising Star makes the move. Where's Fireblaze? Remains in P5. So Rising Star goes... Oh! Fireblaze almost lost the car out of turn 11 there. And once again, those two are still fighting for P9 and P10. Langfell still ready to P13 there. He's very consistent in terms of finishing races, Langfell. That's one good thing about him. He always keeps going, no matter what. Adams as well, always keeps going in P12. Kaname is still on the back of Olakonga, so mighty pace there from Kaname. But here we go down towards turn 17. Fireblaze biding his time. Like I said, at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, what happened there between those two? Did they make contact in towards turn 17? Maybe, but get out unscathed and no further damage done. Notice back ahead of Dragon once again. These guys... Oh, contact between race. He goes off the track in towards turn 1. And that move, unfortunately, was not on. He gets a 3-second penalty. Guess what? That's his first penalty as well, I think. Is it his first penalty? It is. So that's his chances of being on the podium gone completely now. Yeah, that was a very audacious lunge around the outside there. I don't think that move was on for sure. Unless he outbroke himself. Maybe he outbroke himself, I'm not quite sure. Or maybe he didn't react in time. But here we go then, once again, Fireblaze right behind Kane and Rising Star. This is the 10th battle for P3 on the track. As now we've got DRS right to the back of Rising Star. Here we go then, as we head down in towards 11 we go, side by side between all 4 of them, as here comes Fireblaze. Well, behind Rising Star. My God, these two names confusing me. Fireblaze and Rising Star. There we go. But anyways, Hurricane now is still in P3. Fireblaze remains in P5. So it seems like 3rd and 4th are constantly changing positions. And Fireblaze seems to be stuck in P5. So maybe I think Fireblaze has to think about saving a bit of battery, because you can see on the steering wheel that he's been suffering a bit of battery. He doesn't really have the energy to use down the straights to try and get past them. In terms of Rising Star and Hurricane, they'll be quite sufficient at saving battery. There is 3 laps left to go in the Grand Prix. This fight is getting very intense, but we know only 2 drivers will finish on the podium or have a chance of finishing on the podium. It is Fireblaze and Hurricane, because those two do not have a penalty. How much risk does Fireblaze need to take? Oh, Rising Star has lost it out of turn 2, but how much risk is Fireblaze willing to take against Rising Star? Because he's in a championship fight. He'll get a P4 on the road because people around him will have penalties, but we know that there's one more spot to be taken as well. P3, the podium pay positions. He wants a podium as well. He wants to try and make sure he doesn't lose too many points against Kaname. So there's a lot of risk here at stake, and I wonder how much risk he can willing to take. And Kaname still in the back of Olakonga. If he wins this Grand Prix, fantastic from Kaname in P2. And once you can see that downshift, upshifting, downshifting, because he wants to save EOS. That is a tactic, by the way. If you go to non and downshift and upshift very quickly, it saves battery. But Fireblaze trying to redeploy a lot of battery as much as he can in attack and defense mode, keeping the house behind as well. Track position is key, as you've seen so far in the Grand Prix. As Kaname then closing and closing, but I'm not going to go for the move just yet. Both of them are saving battery then. This could be a fight towards the end between these two. Olakonga versus Kaname. 2 very handy drivers indeed. One of them is the championship leader, the other one is a reserve driver, but the reserve driver who goes from last to first makes a big statement as Olakonga really slides to the first corner. But look at that, you can see that both of them, they know the game. These two have been in the situation before. They know what's coming. It's going to be attack versus defense mode in terms of battery as well. Trying to redeploy 100% battery at all times, making sure you have the best towards the Grand Prix. The gap's 9 seconds, though. Look how much time they've lost. The gap was 1.5, like, over 10 laps ago. And that was 9 seconds between Hurricane and Kaname. So, Olakonga's pace has been super strong, keeping Kaname in tabs as well in P2. Oh, this could spice up the championship as well. Depends where they finish towards in the Grand Prix. But look at the Haas. It's right behind Fireblaze. That's the last thing Fireblaze needs is the Haas behind him. Here he goes then on the inside in towards the corner. But Fireblaze trying to resist as we head down in towards the level we go. This is the last thing that Fireblaze needs. All contact between those two. But Fireblaze just stays ahead. And here comes Racing now, who takes on Hussein, who's a ghost in the corner as well. So trying to, can he get past the ghost car him? Yes, he can't. He stays behind for the time being then. Once again, Fireblaze finds himself in a really tough, precarious position in P5 because he's not able to get past Rise of Star Hurricane. But we'll see what happens towards the end. We've got one more lap left to go. The battle for the lead is still on because I thought Volakongan was going to streak away from Kanaim, but not to be because Kanaim's has some mighty pace in this Grand Prix. He's controlled it beautifully, but now, can he do the overtaking on the track? Neither driver have penalties as Kanaim gets a wobbly out of turn number 3 there. And let's see then which one of these two is going to win. Where's Kanaim going to strike? If possible at turn 17 or maybe turn 11. Or maybe towards the line because some people can out-drag people towards the line. But here we go then. It's Kanaim versus Volakongan, the Puerto Rican versus the Norwegian. Kanaim's only had one win this season. That one win was back at the Japanese Grand Prix. Fantastic race from him indeed, fighting with Nico Rassenberg. But now he's fighting with Volakongan, a very handy driver indeed, who has picked up 3 wins this season and 4 podiums. Back to the battle for P3 for the time being. Let's see what happens there because we're not going to see some any action until turn 17, but we might see some action in turn 11. Here we go between these guys. Fireblaze can't seem to find a way past. He's been stuck there for quite a while ever since he arrived on the back of this pack. But it's all about the exit of turn 16 between these two. So the battery will be used in attack and defense mode. Can Kanaim get past Volakongan? The DRS is wide open. Volakongan's defensive. He's clipping down the straight. As here we go, moving slightly as we go for the lead of the Grand Prix. Kanaim takes the lead, but Volakongan back down the inside. There's contact between those two there, but Volakongan just stays ahead. Can Volakongan get past it? There's more contact between the two. It's getting super close. The ball contact. Here we go. It's Volakongan who wins the Miami Grand Prix ahead of Kanaim. Kanaim will be so devastated with that one. Just missed out slightly, but Rising Star up into P3 ahead of Hurricane. But Hurricane will take P3 away. And Rising Star gets a 10-second penalty for speed in the pit lane there. He'll drop down into P7. But what an intense last few laps that was between Kanaim and Volakongan. Super tense there between those two. It was all about a squirrel for traction on the exit of the final few corners. Volakongan just wins the Grand Prix by 0.03 of a second. Fireblaze will be relieved to see that Kanaim did not win. So Kanaim still remains on 1 win this season, which is quite interesting. In fact, the championship leader only having 1 win. But we could calm down now and just embrace what a fantastic race has been between these guys. I thought Volakongan, ever since he pitted onto a set of midi compound tyres, would just streak away, but he didn't. Kanaim, with his mighty pace, was just able to stick on the back of him. And Kanaim, playing the small IQ tactics here, by staying in the DRS range and not going to go for the overtake. Do you know what? It was always going to get a bit sketchy going down towards the final few corners because it's a heavy traction zone at turn 17 and you're fighting for power, fighting for traction, trying to remain ahead, trying to get the power down as quickly than the other driver can do. But Hurricane again, from P18 to P3, mega job from Hurricane. That's his 3rd podium of the season, despite his struggles in the last few races. And I'm pretty sure that Volakongan will be very happy from starting down in 19th to 1st. Do you know what? I want to see a race between Oscar, Volakongan and Hazara. That's one thing I missed so far. It's still a chance, but I'm pretty sure that I think Hazara is a bit too scared every time Volakongan is on the track. Who is my driver of the day? It's between Volakongan and Hurricane. But what do I do? They both deserve it, but only one driver can get it. I don't know, actually. Volakongan, yeah, got to give it to Volakongan, surely. So Kaname has joined the podium interviews. We're just waiting for Hurricane, the man that finished in P3. He does join the podium interviews. He was the Max Verstappen last season in terms of the podcast, but that belongs to Kaname now, who is now the leader of the podcasts, as he's in the party. I'm not quite sure how he's feeling, but we'll hear from him in a few seconds' time. But hopefully Volokongan, maybe I need to give Volokongan an invite just in case on Hurricane, just in case I haven't got one. It should be a very interesting talk in the podium interviews with all the three drivers here, experiencing a good race. Maybe one of them might be a bit disappointed with the outcome, but it's super close in racing all the time, especially in the final lap, or the final few corners, as we get Volokongan and Hurricane in the podium interviews. If I remember how to spell his name, Volokongan. Maybe Hurricane's a bit rusty because he hasn't been in the podium interviews for such a long time. That's why I couldn't find him, because I had his real name, not his PSN name. That's why I couldn't find him. He was right there all along. Kaname, to keep you from waiting, I think it's best to start with you, mate. So, Kaname, I think you and your teammate have done a mega job this Grand Prix, but your teammate fell backwards as he struggled with the mid power tires towards the end, the hard power tires towards the end with the guys in the fight for P3, P4, P5. But you and your teammates worked really well together. Were you and your teammate in a party together, just discuss the strategy and seeing what happens and seeing what happens during the Grand Prix?
Nah, we weren't in a party. We were like, pretty much doing it without any comms. But we did talk about the strategy and stuff like that. And usually I was gonna go for a undercut, but everybody else went for hards. And yeah, I went long, and I went up to like lap 14 on the mediums, and then yeah, stopped for hards.
Sorry, I was muted. My bad. I'm really apologies about that. But Kaname,
Okay.
my second question was that when Volokongan caught up to you guys, when you were struggling in the mid car tires, and when he pitted onto a bonus set of mediums with 10 laps left to go, he overtook you, but you stuck with his DRS. Were you surprised that you were able to keep behind his DRS?
Yeah, for sure. I almost got dropped a few times. I knew if I stayed in his DRS, it was gonna be difficult because of the mediums. Mediums were pretty good here, and but they do die out, which is why I stayed so close to him in the end of the stint. But yeah, I was pretty surprised. I'm pretty surprised with my pace here, to be honest. I haven't really like raced in Miami in quite a long time, and you know, I think the strategy was perfect, and I don't think I could. I don't think I could have done a better drive than that. That's for sure. Because to be close to Volokongan like that is it's pretty good for my standards. So yeah, I'll definitely take the race. That's for sure.
What's your emotions then in the final corner? The final, I think, in my opinion, it's one of them things where it's last lap, last few corners, etc. High pressure, and
Yeah.
you two fighting for traction in the exit at turn 17. I think, in my opinion, it's really hard racing, a bit on the limit, but hard racing, I dare say.
Yeah, for sure. I like that. I like hard racing, so there's nothing really like crazy to me. But you know, he did give me space, and I gave him space. So uh, nobody took each other out. So that's as long as I finish the race and he doesn't do anything crazy. I think I'll take it. He went fair and square. So nothing really nothing really much to say. To be honest.
And you are slowly but surely gaining more points on Fireblaze as well. The championship must be in your mind right now because there is 3 races left to go in this season: Vegas, the Dutch GP, and Silverstone. Which one of the tracks are your weaknesses, or in fact, are those 3 tracks good for you for the last 3 races?
Mm, I mean, I didn't think Miami would be that great for me, and look what happened. So I mean, uh, I think I'm pretty good at those 3 tracks, mainly Silverstone, but I think Netherlands is like kind of like a 50-50. Like I'm not sure because I haven't really raced there in a while as well. Um, but uh, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Three pretty good tracks. So yeah.
And what are your nerves like now going to the last 3 races? It's getting super close between you and Fireblaze. And Laser too. He's not out of it just yet, but mainly the battle between you and Fireblaze. How are you feeling now going to the last 3 races?
I'm feeling pretty confident, especially with this race. I did not expect to be. I mean, of course, Valenkongen won, but I mean, going into the race when I saw him join, I was like, yeah. I think P2 is the max I can get, and to be that close to him at the end, it's like a win to me, right? So he's way quicker than me, and it's one of those things you should be happy about when you're close to someone like that. So yeah, pretty confident, I would say.
That's one, Kaneem, and I wish you the best luck in the last 3 races. It's always nice to speak to you, mate, and keep going with consistent runs. Maybe you might get a championship with only 1 win this season.
Yeah, I would have got one today, but Valakhangan kind of got it from me. But yeah, for sure, I will try and get another one.
Thank you very much, mate. Nice to speak to you again, and good luck for the next few races.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
So, down to P3, Hurricane, Matthias Sal, welcome back, mate, to the podium. Usually, we used to have the Hurricane podcast last season, with you picking up so many wins and so many podiums, but this time it's the Canadian podcast. But welcome back, mate, and you must be feeling absolutely relieved after the Grand Prix, because it was, well, quite stressful that one because you had Rising Star, you had Fireblaze, and you and Fireblaze did not have a penalty towards the Grand Prix. So your main target was Fireblaze at P5. How nervous were you getting towards the Grand Prix? In fact, just talk us through the Grand Prix because you made your way up through very quickly as well, like Nico and Volakongan.
Yeah, it was a difficult race. You don't have a lot of ERS to play with. And when you need to try and overtake one car, you use half the battery and need to charge up. But I got multiple times, like 2 or 3 people, so I made the best of it. The last few laps was okay. I know I had a lot better pace than I did on those few last laps, but I was saving a bit of energy because I knew that Rising Star wasn't going to help me in the last few laps. So yeah, I almost got the hang of Volla and Ganame, but yeah, I had to keep with the P3.
And it's your second podium of the season as well, after getting one at the after getting your win at Abu Dhabi, mate. But this season for you hasn't compared to your last season, picking up 11 wins, and now here, massive contrast. But what's changed like overall between last season and this season? Is it practice? Is it the game itself? Are you struggling with the game?
No, I don't know. I think I practice a bit less than last season, but it's more of me not having the pace. I don't put enough hours into the game anymore. Waiting for the next game, of course. And I've just not driven good enough. When I have the pace, I do make a lot of mistakes. Like I did not have to do last season because I was in the top and didn't have to push 100% each race, so I didn't make so many mistakes. But yeah, I'm happy with the pace I had today. I wish I had this pace the whole the whole season, then I would probably have been fighting for the championship. But yeah.
Is it an also a classic case of when it comes near towards the end of a game cycle, people start to lose motivation? They don't really care about the game no more because, like me, I don't really care about the game no more. Like, for example, let's say January, December, that type of area where people still started to care. But obviously, the months have gone on, the new game's coming out, this game started coming to an end. Plus, being a bad game as well, is it where you just start to lose a bit of momentum, motivation for the game, and just not really care no more?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of me not being the fastest in the league and yeah, general motivation to play the game. Um, in last season, I usually did like maybe 3 races before the Grand Prix on the Wednesdays. Now I usually do 1, maybe 2. So it has something to do with it, but it's mainly I've made too many mistakes this season.
Yeah, quite rare from you as well because I knew the likes of like Blue Rocket. Unfortunately, he's not here at all. He was there for the first few years of the season. I thought he was going to be a championship contender because his main kryptonite was picking up penalties. That's why he lost the races. But yeah, I thought once he sorted them out, he was going to challenge you for the championship. But it's Kaname, and ever since Kaname arrived on the scene, he's been really good for it as well. Like, you got any words to Kaname because obviously he's really shown his mettle this season. He's been really consistent as well. Like, were you expecting him to try and challenge for the championship this season?
Yeah, I think he can win the championship this season. He has really improved his pace from last season. I remember him from some of the races where he was maybe 2.5 tenths behind me. But yeah, he's improved. He is really quick now. He's yeah, generally quali pace, race pace. He is there every time. It's a bit yeah. How do I say that? Yeah, it was yeah. I don't know how to say it, but he's a good driver, and I think he can win the championship.
We'll see. And in terms of your own championship as well, obviously you're not going to go for a championship this season because you're well out of it. But it's just all about having fun in the next few races, really. And we know that the Dutch GP last season, where unfortunately you got wiped out by Adams. But yeah, how are you feeling into the next few races? Do you think you could try and get one more win at least?
Yes, as I'm looking at it, I think I can probably contest for 3 wins the last 3 races. But yeah, the championship is over, not mathematically, but yeah, I don't care for the championship no more. So I think it's going to be 3 races with hard and fun racing.
Hopefully, mate. Hopefully. And yes, once again, Matthias, really nice to speak to you again. And I know we haven't spoken much this season, but hopefully get to speak more in the future, mate.
Yeah, I hope so too. Thank you.
Sorry about Congan. I know it's been a long wait, mate, but that's what happens when you win the Grand Prix. You have to go wait for a long time. But Congan, mate, what can I say? 19th to first, mate, and just talk us through the race because your race pace was absolutely fantastic. And also, when you put on those semi compound tyres, you got past Kaname, but he stuck at the DRS. Were you also surprised that Kaname was able to stick at the DRS race there?
Yeah, to be honest, I was a little bit surprised, but GG's to Kanem. He drove a good race. And I also want to say sorry to Nico, because I pushed him off track quite hard in, I don't know what turn it is.
11.
Yeah, sorry for that. Yeah, 11 probably. So that was not ideal. But other than that, it was a good race, I think, and a close finish.
I mean, I know you're a PS F1 driver. I wish I could commentate your races there, but what was your expectations going into the Grand Prix? Where did you think what was possible today?
I was hoping for the win, of course, but I saw the 2 Alpine guys was quite far ahead, and I thought it would be impossible to catch them. But it looked like the mediums were quite bad around like lap 10 to 15 or something. So I catched a lot then, Yeah, it was good. Good overtakes, good straight line speed. So it was fun.
And towards in the Grand Prix, when Kinane did stay in your DRS, I think you knew what was happening because I think he was just redeploying his DRS. Same with you in defense mode as well. So you knew what was coming in the last few laps of the Grand Prix, where people stay behind in second place to get the DRS. Every single driver does the same thing, really, because it's all about tactics at the end of the day. But on that on the back straight, headed down towards turn 17 there, how would you describe it like Kinane? Because I think it was really hard on the limit, but fair racing. Rubbing is racing, as they say. So I think it was just on the limit there.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was good. I haven't watched it back, but yeah, as he said, he left me space. I tried to leave him space, and yeah, it was 300s at the line, I think. So it was good fun.
Your heart must have been beating there because you two were banging wheels out of turn 18 and turn 19 there. So how was your heart rate going towards the final two corners?
Nah, I don't know. It was probably going up a little bit, yeah.
And Valakongan as well, like, do you know next season, are you interested in being a division? I know most of the people might not want you to be here because of your pace, you, Oscar, and Valakongan, Hazara, but are you interested in being a Division 1 driver next season? Is that possible for you, or are you having fun as a reserve?
I'm having fun as a reserve, to be honest. I don't know if I can be full-time because I can't be here every week, so I think it's better for me to be a reserve at the moment, at least.
And it's always nice as well when you do appear. You've had I think you've had 4 wins now this season. I think you've had more wins than anybody else this season, other than Jensen. I think Jensen's got 3, and you have 4, if I'm correct with that one. Yes, you got 4, as you've just won the 4th Grand Prix of your career in here in SFR in Miami. So yeah, you got more wins than anybody else this season, despite being a reserve driver. How's that feel?
Nah, it feels good, of course. I'm not winning I'm not winning many races in PSGL and those leagues, so yeah, it's fun to get the feeling of standing at the top of the podium sometimes.
And we're coming towards the end of this game cycle. And what's this game been like? Well, I think I know the answer to that one, but talk us through your experience on this game. How do you think? Has it been a good game for you, or is it the same of everybody else's opinion?
Probably the same as a lot of other people. Yeah, it's not been a great game, but for the most part of it, the racing have been quite fun. Qualifying not so much, but yeah, and the pace hasn't been that great. Yeah, it's been all right. Okay.
Well, thank you very much, Valakongan. And the last 3 races, mate, are Las Vegas, the Dutch GP, and Silverstone. And if you are there, are you excited for those tracks?
Yeah, Las Vegas is very fun. I hope I can drive that one at least, and yeah, the other 2 are okay tracks. So, but Las Vegas is the most fun. Yeah.
And do you know what I want the most, Valakongan? I want you, Oscar, and Hazara to share the same track. Piece of tarmac for once just this season, last 2 races. Can you make it possible?
Yeah, that would be fun. I hope we can do that.
Well, thank you very much. It's been nice to talk to you again, and congratulations on the win, mate.
Thank you very much.
So, finally done here at the Miami Grand Prix, but we still remain in USA as we go to Las Vegas. Jordan's back for Division 4, 3, 2, and 1, all at 7:30 and 8 o'clock for Division 4. Jordan's back for Las Vegas, and the championship fight is well and truly live in Division 3, Division 4, and in Division 1 as well. Stay tuned, it can get very spicy towards the top end of the field.